Skol Nation, stop right now. US Bank Stadium just erupted with breaking news, and 3 massive updates just reshaped Minnesota's season. Kyler Murray hit an unexpected wall on 3rd down. Kevin O'Connell finally unlocked an explosive ground attack, and NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport confirmed that JAMAL suffered a brutal season-ending knee injury. The team gained critical tape, established balance with 112 rushing yards, and now faces urgent questions in the secondary. If you skol louder than you breathe and want to watch the Packers crumble, hit like and subscribe right now. We start with a quarterback misfire that has Minneapolis talking, but stay locked because the defensive fallout at the end changes everything. Whispers turned into footsteps under the stadium lights after Saturday's preseason win over the New York Giants. The name? Kyler Murray. The Minnesota Vikings discovered a critical miscommunication issue in live game action that a controlled practice simply could not uncover. On a key 3rd down play, Murray and veteran running back Aaron Jones completely misread the defensive look. Murray saw the coverage developing one way and made his decision, while Jones anticipated a completely different route concept. The disconnect instantly ended Minnesota's chance to keep the drive alive, forcing the team to settle for a Will Reichard field goal instead of crossing the goal line for 7 points. For an offense breaking in a new starting quarterback and trying to build sharp timing before September, the mistake was frustrating yet extraordinarily valuable. In practice, a broken read gets talked through before running another repetition against familiar teammates. In a live preseason game, that split-second hesitation sends out the special teams unit and stalls momentum. Murray took complete accountability when speaking to reporters after the contest, stating directly that he saw the field one way while Jones saw it another, but expressed complete confidence that they will hit that exact play when it matters most. His post-game poise makes sense, yet 3rd down conversions remain the lifeblood of Kevin O'Connell's playbook. When the quarterback and running back interpret defensive leverage differently at full speed, entire possessions crumble. Murray pointed out that live reps against external competition provide something practice periods cannot replicate. You walk off the field frustrated with 3 points instead of 6, but the coaching staff now possesses high-speed game film to correct alignment, recognition, and timing. Building chemistry between a mobile quarterback and an elite pass-catching back takes time. This visual reference point allows O'Connell to refine route depth and coverage identification during film study. In high-leverage 3rd down situations, split-second processing dictates whether a drive continues or the defense gets off the field. When facing aggressive blitz packages and disguised safety rotations, both the passer and the checkdown option must recognize coverage leverage simultaneously. Having this miscue surface in mid-August provides the offensive staff with actionable film rather than suffering an unexpected breakdown during a divisional matchup in September. The coaching staff can now design specific red zone and 3rd down live simulations during joint practices to ensure that route adjustments against man-to-man and zone coverages are executed seamlessly. Every extra live repetition solidifies pre-snap communication across the entire starting unit. When opposing linebackers show late blitz looks at the line of scrimmage, the quarterback has to trust that his safety valve will sit in the vacated soft spot of the zone rather than continuing upfield on an option stem. That microsecond synchronization is what separates good NFL offenses from championship units. Kevin O'Connell built his reputation on maximizing quarterback efficiency through structured progressions, and this early film study allows Murray to see the field exactly through the eyes of his play caller. With joint practices and film sessions scheduled throughout the remainder of training camp, this specific missed connection provides the ideal teaching moment for the entire offense. Furthermore, establishing sharp cadence recognition alongside audible checks under intense crowd noise will guarantee that every audible called by Murray translates into instant execution on the gridiron. How quickly do you think Murray and Jones will master this scheme before week 1? The offense is installing intricate concepts designed to challenge modern shell coverages, meaning every skill player must process pre-snap cues in unison. If you believe Kyler Murray is the missing piece that takes Minnesota's aerial attack to an elite level, smash that like button and let the NFC North know we are coming. But while the passing game works through live growing pains, the real revolution happened on the ground, where Minnesota finally revealed a dominant identity that nobody saw coming. Scouts called it calculated violence, and the front office liked the price. The question was not if the identity would shift, but when. The focal point? Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings' revitalized rushing attack. In the 13-10 preseason victory over the New York Giants, one monumental takeaway stood above everything else. Minnesota proved it can run the football with punishing efficiency. Last season, the offense ranked near the bottom of the league in rushing attempts, finishing with the 6th fewest carries despite averaging a solid 4.5 yards per attempt, which ranked in the top 12 league-wide. Injuries devastated the offensive line, leaving right guard Will Freeze as the lone 17-game starter, repeatedly forcing Minnesota into predictable passing scripts. However, abandoning the ground game with backup passers on the roster defied logical explanation. If not for a run-heavier approach in the final 5 games of the season that sparked a late-season winning streak, those rushing volume numbers would have looked far worse. The entire philosophical dynamic shifted when O'Connell hired former Miami Dolphins offensive coordinator Frank Smith as assistant head coach. Smith is actively spearheading the installation of an outside wide zone rushing scheme, filling a major strategic blind spot in O'Connell's offensive playbook. That schematic evolution was on full display against New York. The Vikings racked up 112 rushing yards on 26 attempts before Carson Wentz took the final victory formation kneel down, establishing balanced tempo from the opening whistle. On the opening offensive drive featuring the starting unit, Murray dropped back for only 3 passes, while Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason carried the ball 3 times each, combining for 44 yards with both backs ripping off explosive runs over 10 yards. The coaching staff briefly tested rookie Demon Claiborne in goal line personnel packages, though the physical mismatch showed he was ill-suited for that specific short yardage duty. Still, the primary 1-2 punch of Jones and Mason dictated the physical tone and set up Will Reichard's field goal. Finishing the night with 26 runs and 27 dropbacks delivered the exact 50-50 balance O'Connell envisioned all summer long. A potent rushing attack completely protects the quarterback, slows down aggressive edge rushers, and unlocks lethal play-action passing windows down the field. Establishing physical dominance at the line of scrimmage forces opposing linebackers to hesitate, giving receivers cleaner separation on intermediate crossers and deep posts. When defenses are forced to bring an extra safety down into the box to stop the run, explosive passing opportunities naturally open up across the deep secondary. Frank Smith's wide zone concepts create natural cutback lanes that perfectly suit the downhill running styles of both Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. The offensive line showed remarkable lateral quickness, consistently reaching second-level linebackers and creating wide rushing lanes on perimeter stretch plays. This balanced offensive formula removes immense pressure from Kyler Murray, allowing the offense to dictate tempo, control time of possession, and wear down opposing defensive lines as the game progresses. Controlling the line of scrimmage sets a punishing tone that neutralizes aggressive pass rush fronts, ensuring Minnesota dictates terms late in the 4th quarter. If Minnesota sustains this physical identity, opposing defensive coordinators will no longer be able to pin their ears back on obvious passing downs. Will this new wide zone scheme make the Vikings a top 10 rushing offense this year? Drop your total rushing yardage prediction in the comments below. Yet, just as the offensive balance reached peak excitement, a devastating defensive catastrophe unfolded on the turf. A move months in the making, where high expectations suddenly met the harshest reality of the sport. Sources say the defensive plan sat finalized on the whiteboard since minicamp. The identity everyone is heartbroken over, Jamal Adams, and the locker room already knows the mountain they must now climb. Silence fell over the sideline the exact second the medical staff rushed onto the field during Saturday's 13-10 victory over the Giants. Adams went down with a non-contact knee injury and had to be carted straight back to the locker room. Head coach Kevin O'Connell admitted right after halftime that the initial evaluation looked grim, and NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport confirmed everyone's worst fears, officially reporting that Adams was diagnosed with a season-ending knee injury. His campaign is over before it truly started, leaving behind just 1 tackle and 1 tackle for loss in exhibition play. It represents a devastating blow for a player who appeared poised for a massive bounce-back year in Brian Flores' defense. Adams had put together a stellar training camp, thriving in hybrid alignments and pushing hard for a featured starting role in multi-safety packages. Flores thrives on versatile defenders who can disguise blitzes from the slot, drop into deep halves, and crash downhill against gap scheme runs, making Adams an ideal schematic weapon. Now, entering late August, Minnesota faces massive personnel questions and must completely reconfigure its defensive depth chart. Joshua Metellus and Theo Jackson remain projected starters, while young contributors Jay Ward and Jacoby Thomas will be forced to compete for expanded roles. The loss of Adams removes an aggressive box defender who allowed Flores to disguise coverages without sacrificing run support near the line of scrimmage. Without his physical presence in sub-packages, the defense must rely heavily on rapid developmental leaps from younger defensive backs during upcoming preseason games. Flores will now have to alter his exotic blitz schemes and evaluate whether young defensive backs can handle the communication demands required in complex nickel and dime looks. This sudden absence also intensifies external discussions. A reunion with Vikings legend Harrison Smith suddenly feels more inevitable than ever before. O'Connell previously acknowledged having direct conversations with Smith regarding his future over recent months. Re-signing a franchise icon who knows Flores' complex scheme inside and out could instantly stabilize communication across the back end, restore veteran leadership to a suddenly depleted room, and give this defense the steady anchor it desperately needs ahead of Week 1. Veteran presence in high-pressure divisional games cannot be overstated, especially when facing elite quarterbacks who excel at exploiting young safeties in coverage. How should Minnesota address this sudden hole at safety? Would you trust the young safeties or call Harrison Smith immediately? Let your voice be heard below. 3 defining storylines have officially set the trajectory for Minnesota's season. Kyler Murray's third down misfire highlights areas for quick timing polish. Kevin O'Connell's rushing scheme provides the physical foundation needed to dominate time of possession. And Jamal Adams' tragic injury forces Brian Flores into urgent schematic adjustments. Viking Nation knows this roster possesses the firepower and coaching pedigree to overcome adversity and conquer the NFC North. If you believe the Vikings will win the division title, hit like right now to show your purple pride. Comment your exact prediction for Harrison Smith's return and let us know your defensive expectations. Most importantly, subscribe to the channel immediately to ensure you never miss breaking updates before kickoff. But stay on high alert, because front office executives are holding emergency meetings right now regarding safety depth, and an official signing could drop within 24 hours. Meanwhile, the Packers are monitoring our secondary injuries and preparing an aggressive Week 1 offensive strategy to test our young safeties. Skol to the wall, subscribe now, and let's make the NFC North hear the horns.